So we start triggers today. Okay, so this is very important concept. So every developer will be dealing with triggers. Being a developer, you will be definitely doing something in the trigger. Okay, so there may be if the development, if the project is in the middle, there may be some triggers already written by the developers. You may be doing some modifications, or you may be adding some enhancements to the existing code. So triggers are really very important. Okay, so first let me show you how we can create a trigger. I mean the navigation part. So see here, you have a file, and if you click on new, it gives you Apex class, trigger, Visual Force page, all these things. So if you click on Apex trigger, it will ask you for the name. Okay, and it will ask you for the object also. Submit it. Duplicate value found. So I guess already there is a trigger with the same name, so you need to give some other name. Okay, right. So this is our trigger trigger name, and on which object you are writing the trigger. Okay, and this is the event. I will explain about the events. Okay, so this is one way of writing triggers, and the other way is if you go to setup, and you can find this one in the quick search box. See here, for each and every object, lead triggers, account triggers, contact triggers. Otherwise, if you go down, you can see Apex triggers. You can create it here, or else you can go there also. Okay, so these are the two triggers available. This is the one which I created just now in the developer console, and the other way is you can do it using Eclipse IDE. Okay, so if you install your Eclipse IDE, you can do this one, right? So these are the ways of creating a trigger: Eclipse IDE, developer console, and standard navigation. So it is okay, we have seen how to how to create a trigger, but what is the purpose of trigger? What is the purpose of a trigger? So triggers can have custom business logic. If you wanted to implement any custom business logic, you can implement that logic in the trigger. Okay, so which actually execute based on the DML operations. So in the definition of trigger itself, if you go back to the definition of this trigger, it is asking you for the event before insert. Okay, so insert is a DML operation. So you may also write here before update, before delete. Okay, so after insert, after update. So these kinds of events you can write. So these are the events. In the bracket you have to write on which event you want the trigger to fire. Okay, so based on DML operations, if you wanted to perform any business logic, you can do using triggers. It is the first one. So based on the DML operations, if we wanted to perform any business logic, we can use triggers. Okay, so next one, what else we can do using triggers? We can implement complex validation rules. So we have a concept called a validation rules, and there we have seen how to write a validation rule. If you wanted to make a field Suppose there is a phone field. If you wanted to make that phone field mandatory, then what you will do, you will write a validation rule for that, and you will be using a function called isBlank. IsBlank in the brackets, if you give the field name phone, then you can make the phone field mandatory. IsBlank phone. If you write this one in the validation rule, it makes the phone field mandatory. So this is a simple business logic. You can write this simple business logic also, and even some kind of complex business logic also. If you wanted to perform some complex validation rule, then you can write that in triggers. Okay, so it is also useful for writing validation rules. And yeah, these are the main things. So to perform some custom business logic based on some DML operation, okay, and to write some validation, complex validation rules. Okay, so for these two purposes we can write triggers, right? So what are trigger events? Please listen carefully. After this topic you should be able to distinguish between trigger and workflow. Okay, so we have already discussed workflows. So after this topic you should be able to distinguish what is workflow and what is trigger, and what are the differences between these. Okay, so what are the trigger events? These are very important. Trigger events before insert. Trigger event is nothing but at which particular event you want the trigger to fire. See, you are writing before insert. If you write comma before update, this trigger will be fired whenever we are inserting the account record and whenever we are updating the existing account record. Okay, if you also include after insert or after update, okay, after update, then that includes after insert. So this trigger will be fired whenever there is some insert or update operation, either it is before or after. Okay, so these are the trigger events. At which particular event you want the trigger to fire. Okay, that can be defined by using the parameters we are giving here. Okay, so before insert, before update, before delete, and after insert, after update, after delete, and the other event is after undelete. What is undelete? If you undelete a record, the record will be coming to the object, coming to the Salesforce. Okay, so where you do this one? In recycle bin. Once the record is deleted, it goes to recycle bin. Okay, from there you can undelete the records, right? So we have seen the syntax. The basic syntax for the trigger is this one: trigger, trigger name, on which object. You have to mention the object name, and in the brackets you have to specify the events. Okay, so these are all events, trigger events. Okay, so this is a basic trigger, right? Next, so are you clear with this? Any doubts? Next, we need to know this also. Trigger.new. What is trigger.new? If suppose you are writing trigger.new in your trigger in your code, what it means? Okay, so it contains the current context records. It contains the correct current context records while performing some DML operation. Okay, suppose you wanted to write a validation rule. When the validation rule will be fired, either when you are inserting or when you are updating. Okay, so whatever the record you are going to update, where that record has to store. Let me explain you with this example. This is very important. If you got any doubt, you can stop me at any time. Account number is mandatory. So what I do is, this is not active. I want to make this one active. Go to account, open this one. There is no account number. So if you edit this one, and now if you save, it will give you the error. Sorry, it is giving some other errors. So when we give all these things, now the validation rule is fired. Please enter account number. Okay, so when you are editing the record in the backend, the validation rule is getting fired. Otherwise, this is the existing record we have taken. Otherwise, we'll take a new record. Take a new record. Try to insert this record. You got this error. Please enter account number. So whenever you are doing that, so this test record has to be stored somewhere in the backend. I mean, it should not be committed to database, but before committing to the database, something should hold this information, and something should hold this information, and it has to validate the information. How you are getting this information? When these details are validated, then we are getting some error message. You have to provide this number also, saying that now please enter account number. So this message is we are getting when something is validated in the backend, right? So to validate it, you have to save the data somewhere. Where it is getting stored, I can say trigger.new. Trigger.new, whenever you are editing or whenever you are inserting a new record, okay, so that context, that particular context is getting saved in this trigger.new. Okay, I guess you guys clear. If not, please ask me again, I can explain again. Okay, so it contains the current context records while performing DML operation. Okay, DML operation in the sense it's not delete, it's only insert and update. Trigger.new, I am putting it my own words. It contains the current context records while performing the, don't say DML because it also includes in delete also, insert and update. Okay, so this is trigger.new, and we also have trigger.old. So what is trigger.old? Trigger.old contains the previous context records. The previous context records while performing update, delete and undelete operations. It contains the previous context records while performing the update, delete and undelete operations in the object. Okay, so this is trigger.old, and we have trigger.new map. Nothing to worry, this guy is telling all definitions today like that. We'll be seeing everything in practical. Trigger.old map. So what it is? This is new map, right? Sorry. Trigger.new map. It contains the current context records in the form of map. So what actually map is holding? Map is holding key and value pair. So here the trigger.new map, it is containing the current context records in the form of map collection. It contains the current context records in the form of map collection. Next, trigger.old map. What is trigger.old map? It contains the previous context records in the form of map collection. It contains the previous context records in the form of map collection. Okay, so this is trigger.new map. Sorry, this is trigger.old map. So I have a question for you guys. So what it is returning? Trigger.new. Is it returning a single record or is it returning a list of records? Any idea? Just think for a second. So trigger.new, we can write insert and update operations. Okay, so we can use trigger.new in case of insert and update operations, right? So what it is holding actually? Is it holding a single record data or multiple records data? So I told you this example, you are editing this one and this has to be stored somewhere for the temporary purpose. Okay, so that is nothing but trigger.new is holding this information. Okay, so can't you do editing of bulk records, updating of bulk records? Can we do that? Updating bulk records. Yes, we can do that because we can get the records data using some SOQL query, and whenever you are getting some SOQL query, you may get some multiple records. Okay, and after that you can update all the records which we retrieved using SOQL query using one update statement. Okay, we have seen that example. Okay, so it is possible to update multiple records in a single attempt. In a single update statement, you have to write a SOQL query and you have to store the results in a list. After that, you can update the list. When you are updating the list, all the records which are present in the list will be updated. Okay, so in that case, when it is returning list of records or a single record, it is returning list of records. So trigger.new return type is always a list. You have to keep it in mind. So the return type of trigger.new, trigger.old is always a list. Okay, and what about the new map and old map? it is always a map. Okay, it is holding the ID value and the record information. Okay, so map is having two things, right? Map is holding key and value pair. Key is the unique value, right? Key is always unique in map. Value can be duplicated. Okay, so if you are dealing with account, if you are writing trigger.new map, key is holding the ID of the records and value is the information of whole record. Okay, so trigger.new map is returning a map and trigger.old and trigger.new is returning a list. Clear? Next, we can also do bulkifying records in triggers. Okay, as these are dealing with multiple records, so we can do bulkifying also using triggers. Okay, so yeah, now let me create a basic trigger. So we have a object called vacancy. Okay, suppose take this as a real-time scenario. So one organization is having some vacancies. Okay, it is posting some senior manager, sales rep, these kind of vacancies it is having. Okay, so one guy he found that this is the new vacancy and it need to be published. So senior manager vacancy, he feel that senior manager vacancy is not published, I wanted to publish it. So that is why what he is doing is, in the vacancy object he is creating a senior manager vacancy post. Okay, so let me create it. So senior manager, and this is lookup we have. Right, so what I wanted to do is, there should not be no duplication in the name of a vacancy. Already we published to senior manager vacancy and no other person is allowed to publish the same vacancy. Okay, so how I can achieve this one? So I need to avoid duplication in the vacancies. Okay, so how I can do that? So I have to write a trigger on vacancy object. Okay, so let's go and write a query in vacancy object. So new apex trigger, avoid duplication on vacancy, right? And that should be on vacancy object. Submit. So it is asking you for before insert. I mean it is giving you the syntax for the trigger. Trigger, this is the name of the trigger we have given, avoid duplication on vacancy, and that is on vacancy object. So these are the events before insert. Okay, so before insert, the trigger has to check whether is there any duplicate value with the same name we are inserting or not. If there is any record which is already existing with the same name, then it has to fire a error message, right? So for that we are writing the trigger here. So write a for loop, enhanced for loop for vacancy underscore underscore c vac in trigger.new. What is this trigger.new? You have to keep it in mind, because if you search any video, people will not explain you the definition of this. They will directly write the code and we will be in the confusion like what he has written and why he has written trigger.new. Trigger.new is holding the record information. Before you save the record, it will check for all the validation rules. Okay, so if you search any video, because I myself has got a doubt and I checked many of the videos but no one explained well. So I did my own research and I came to know that this is for this one. Okay. So next, so for every vacancy record we are inserting, okay, so we have to write the logic here. What we need to check? We need to check whether is there any record with the same name in the database. Okay, so how you can check that? If you want to check the records with the same name, how you can do that? See, I want to insert some test record. Okay, if there is already a test record in the database, it should fire a error. So how I can know that there is already one test record available? How I can know? Yesterday, day before yesterday, we did that only. How we can check that? We can check it by writing a SQL query. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I want to get the count. Integer record count is equal to select count. Select count. Count is the function which returns the number of records from vacancy object. And I want to write a where class. Where name is equal to. Where name is equal to, because we are checking the name. I don't want to enter two records with the same name. Name is equal to what name? VAC dot name. Okay, is it clear? Next. So this record will give you the list of records information. It will give you the count. It will give you the count of the records with the name VAC dot name. Okay. So next, what I have to check here, if record count greater than 0, if record count greater than 0, then we should fire a validation message. We should fire a error message. Okay, what error message it need to fire? There is already a record which is already existing with the same name. Okay, so for that what I have to write is VAC dot name dot, there is a method called add error. Add error, the vacancy has already been published. Okay, the vacancy has already been published. Right. Please try to post a different vacancy. Okay, this is the error message I wanted to fire. Right? Any doubt? What is the error here? VACANCY, where it is line 2. So okay, so you can see the errors here. See, it is giving you some error message here, then it is gone. Okay, so Control S, I am saving it. Next, go to vacancy and try to create this senior manager. New See, the vacancy has already been published. Please try to post a different vacancy. Okay, it is avoiding the duplicates. If you give some other name, suppose change this one, you are able to save it and edit this. See, what are the context variables we have given here? We have given only before insert, right? It is saved now. Why? We have two senior managers. Why? Because we did the update, and again the same name will be, if you try to insert the same name, if you try to post the same vacancy, then it will give you the error message for sure. See here, it is giving you the error message, but you can update the existing records, but you cannot insert the new records. See here, this one I can change it to senior manager. Now if you see, there will be total 3 senior managers. If you write before update here, before update, and save it.
Once again explain that.
Okay, I will. So before giving this before update statement here, before giving that before update statement, if you try to insert a new sales manager record, save, it is giving you the error message. It is not allowing you to insert a senior manager record because it is already existing. If you give some other name, it is allowing you. So now I want to update this one. I want to update this one to senior manager. I am removing this one. Now it now we are able to save this. Okay, we are unable to insert a new record, but we are able to update the existing record, right? With the same name, with the senior manager name, if there is any existing record, you can update it to senior manager, but you cannot insert it. See here, there is a test. I will update this one. When you are updating, it is not giving you any error message. It is giving you the error message only when you are inserting. Try to create one. This is the new one. Now you will be getting the error. Okay, so because we have given the event only when inserting, only when before inserting we have given. Okay, so right, if you give before update, what happens now? You can't even update the record also. It is not saved. You need to check it. When it is saved, the star mark will go. Okay, so cancel. See here, there is manager. I want to update this manager to senior manager. Then you cannot update also because you already inserted senior manager. Even updation is also not possible. So the firing of trigger will be depending on the events you mentioned here. Okay, if you want to fire the trigger only when inserting, then you can use only insert. If you want to fire this whenever you are inserting and also when updating, then you have to use update also. Okay, so this is how triggers work. Okay, so you are able to write complex business logic, because if you wanted to write this thing in the validation rule, it may not be possible, because first you need to check the total database. You cannot write a validation rule. I mean, you cannot write a SQL query in the validation rule, right? So for that, we are using triggers. To write some complex business logic, we are using triggers. And I want to use one more trigger. Okay, so is it clear for you? Right. I want to write a account trigger and account object. I want to write a trigger. Go to file. I guess we have a test trigger. Anyway, we'll create one new trigger. So I am giving account trigger as the name, and the object is account submit. Right, account trigger is prepared. So this is before insert. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I want to make the phone number field mandatory. The phone number field is mandatory or not, now we'll check. So I guess the phone number field is not mandatory. We have not written any validation. We have written a validation rule, but we inactivated, we deactivated. So test, try to save. Yeah, account number is mandatory. We have written a validation rule. Okay, so phone number is not mandatory. Okay, without giving the phone number, now we are able to save the record. But now from my trigger I want to make phone number mandatory. Okay, so how we can write that, let me explain you. If okay, you need to check the context variable. So you don't need for account ACC in trigger.new. Okay, so what I have to write, if phone is equal to null, or write this condition also, phone is equal to null. You have to write acc dot phone and acc dot phone is equal to null. Then what I have to do, I have to fire a error message, acc dot phone dot at phone number field I want to fire error message, acc dot phone dot add error. What error message I want to fire, the phone number is mandatory, please enter phone number. Okay, so this is the error message I wanted to fire, right? So let me save it. Unexpected token or operator can only be applied to Boolean expressions. Okay, let me take one only and let me check if acc.phone is equal to null. There should be no semicolon. Right, no errors. If phone is equal to null, fire the error message. But actually it has to take R also, but anyway we'll see that. So this is saved, and now go to account object. There is no phone number for this. And what are the context variables we have written? We have written only before insert. We have not written before update. So let me check when we are inserting. Let me check the scenario of inserting. Try to save. See, phone. The phone is mandatory. Please enter the phone number. What is the error message I have given? The phone is mandatory. Please enter the phone number. Change it. The phone number is mandatory. Please enter phone number. Save it. It is not saved. Right, saved. Save it. It has to change. The phone number is mandatory. Please enter phone number. I don't want this one at the field. I want it on the top. Then remove this field. acc.add error. Now try to save. The phone number is mandatory. Please enter phone number. If you want to fire the error message at the field, then you have to add acc dot the field name. Now check again. You'll get it at the phone field, right? And this is only when inserting a record. We have some existing records. Is it working for them? Edit, save. It is not working when we are editing this one. So before update, if you write a simple statement before update, right? Go here, edit, save. See, phone number is mandatory. Please enter phone number. Got it? Very simple if you practice. Very tough and very confusing if you don't practice. Okay? So you need to understand what is trigger.new. Right. So suppose if account phone is null, I want to update the phone field with some number. Okay, then what I have to do? If account you are not giving any phone number field value, then how you can do? Let me copy and paste this in a notepad so that you people can see this. I will send this through a mail. And the other trigger we have written on the vacancy object, right? So let's go to vacancy object trigger. Apex triggers. Avoid duplicate on vacancy. I am sharing the code with you. Please don't copy and paste. If you copy and paste, there will be no errors. If you try to write on your own, definitely you will get some errors and you will get some knowledge. Phone number validation using triggers. Next, what is that? We have written a trigger on vacancy, right? Avoiding duplicates. Next one, updating phone number when the phone number field is empty. Now see here, if account.phone is equal to null, I don't want to add error, I want to update it. acc.phone is equal, see how simple the coding is if you understand. If we don't understand, then only the problem. Of course, there may be some complex code in the real time, but all these are based on these basics only. Okay, that is saved. So if you are not giving any phone number when you are creating, when you are inserting, or whenever you are updating a record, then I wanted to update the phone number field with this number. Let's check. There is no field, there is no phone number. Save it. Update it. See, and go to some other record. So there is a phone number for this record. Let's see what I do. I remove this. All 6 is the phone number. I removed it and I am saving it. See, the phone number is updated. Okay, so create a new record. In case of creating new record, I am not giving phone number, just save the record. Account number is valid. Save this. Right, you got the phone number. So in the same way, you can update any field. Whenever you are not giving any information, you can update any field. Okay, so let's write a trigger on lead object. Go to lead. So we will be having a field called status. Where is status? Lead status. Okay. It is by default open not contacted. Okay. Otherwise, let's go to opportunity. There we can see stage, opportunity stage. Yeah, the opportunity stage is by default none. Okay, so I want to, if there is no value is given on opportunity stage, no, it is a mandatory field, you have to give something. Okay, I will update probability. If you are not giving any value in the probability field, I want to update the probability to 25. Okay, so let's check that one. So you have to write a trigger on opportunity. Opportunity trigger on the object opportunity. Submit. Before insert, before update. Okay, so what you have to write, for each and every opportunity, OPP trigger.new. Okay, so I want to check the condition. If OPP dot probability, OPP dot probability. Please remind me whenever I am writing some typing mistake, is equal to null. Okay, so OPP dot probability is equal to null. I want to update opportunity field, sorry, probability field. OPP dot probability is equal to 25. Okay, so I guess it is integer value, so you don't need to put it in string. Anyway, we'll check. We'll check the field first. What is the field type? Probability is percent. So we don't need to give quotations, I guess. Anyway, if we got error, then we can see that, right? Control S. There are no errors, and go to your opportunity record, close date, stage, prospecting. So by default it is showing some value. So when it is prospecting, it is 10. So you cannot check it here. No errors. So whenever opportunity stage name is equal to prospecting, then opportunity probability should be updated to 25%. Let me check whether it works out or not, because there is a stage process. Opportunity is having sales process. So that sales process is updating this value. See, if you change the value, the probability is changing. Okay. So actually, when it is prospecting, it is updated to 10, but in the trigger I have written something. So let me check whether it updates or not. No. So you won't get in this case also. Let me show you with some other example. Right? We check with this type. When type is equal to null, update this existing customer upgrade. What is this value? Existing customer upgrade. Right? No errors. Save. Cancel. There is no type here. Okay. Edit this record. Save this record. See, existing customer upgrade. Okay. So you can also write some new customer, something like that. So there is new customer. Let me check with some other. Go to this record. There is no type here. Edit this and save this. See, existing customer upgrade. What are the other values? There is new customer. I want to change. If there is nothing in the type, then that should be new customer. Control save and come here, go to opportunity records, go to Wipro, there is no type, edit and save, new customer. Okay, so this is how you can update the fields also based on some criteria. You have to write some criteria on, and that if that criteria satisfies, then you can update the fields. Okay, so this is how you can use your triggers. And I want to show you something else also. So right, go to any account, so whenever you are inserting any record, what you will be doing, I mean whenever you are inserting a phone number, so the first three characters, if you consider India, the first three characters of any land phone indicates the city. If that is 040, that is Hyderabad, and I guess 020 means that is Pune, and Bangalore is 080. Okay, so based on the phone number entered, I want to update my city field. Okay, so is there any custom city field? See, there is no custom city field. So let's create a custom city field with some pick list values. New, next, sorry, pick list, next, so enter the values of the pick list. Hyderabad, Chennai, Pune, Bangalore. Make it visible. Save. So we got a custom city field. Okay, and okay, so go to account trigger, this is account trigger, edit, remove this. Okay, so it is very small, but I guess now you are able to see. So what it is, we wanted to update the city field based on the phone number. Okay, we will be taking the first three numbers, first three digits of the phone number. We'll be taking the first three digits of the phone number and we'll be updating the city based on the first three digits from the phone number. Okay, so let me write this: trigger, account trigger, and account write. Okay, so before insert and before update events, so don't write this statement here. if trigger dot is insert, or trigger dot is update. And trigger dot is before. Okay, otherwise it's okay, you don't need to write it. It will be more complex for you to understand. We'll see this concept later. Let me write it very simple. For account ACC trigger dot new. Okay, so if what I have to take, I have to see the condition. If ACC dot form not equal to null, I am checking this condition, because if the phone number is null, you cannot update the city. Based on the phone number, we are updating the city. That is why in the beginning itself I wanted to check whether the phone number field is empty or not. If that phone number field is not empty, then that is why we have to use developer console. It will give you with a clear indentation also. Okay, so what I have to do, I have to take first three characters, right? First three digits of the phone number. For that, what I am doing is I am defining a string std code. String std code is equal to, so how I can get that, acc dot phone dot, we have a separate function called substring. You have to use this function 1 comma 4. Okay, so this is substring will take the characters, first character, second character, and third character. 1 comma 4 it will take, right? So if you wanted to check, you can system.debug the first, otherwise you can say std code. So what you can write, you can copy and paste it. Okay, so this is just to check whether we are getting the std code or not. So write your logic here. If std code is equal to 040, acc dot city underscore underscore c is equal to Hyderabad. Okay, next, if std code is equal to 020, that is Pune. If std code is equal to 080, that is Bangalore, right? So right, okay, so this is our trigger. Expecting right curly bracket, there is a curly bracket missing. right? See here, if you click on this, this one is highlighted. Next, if you click on this, these two. Click on this, these two. Okay, so every opening is having a closing. Then this error will be go. Now you won't get this error. Condition expression must be of type boolean. Not equal to, we'll be writing like this only. Hmm, why it is giving that error message? Condition expression must be of type boolean. Okay, we'll use is blank. Remove it. No need to check this null pointer exception. Quick save. Condition expression must be of type. Okay, at line 10. So we can write something like this. I'm not checking the line number. Let me write. Line 10. Right. So this is the error here. So actually it is giving the number line 10, but I'm modifying here. So you can tell me na. You are also following na. Please follow. Please tell me. Please, whenever you find something, please tell me. We don't need to write it here. Right. Okay. Right. It is saved. Save this. Right. So go to accounts, create new, continue. So where is city field? City is here. Okay. So now it has to take first three characters of the phone number. This is a validation rule. Where is city? City is not updated, right? So we need to modify the trigger. Go to setup. Go to account trigger. Edit. So what is going wrong? So we'll write some condition here. If maybe this is causing this, trigger dot is insert uh, trigger dot is update let me check the logs first. So what is, so whenever you're getting this kind of problem, you can go to logs, admin, edit this one, okay, save it. City is not updated, so go here to debug logs. If you refresh this page, you will see the log here. View it, control F, look for std code. Std code is 405. We are getting 405 in std code. So right, I got the fix for this. 0 to 3. Quick save. Save. See Hyderabad. So see here, you should know this also. So this is how the compiler is going from where to where. So account trigger is fired before update trigger. Okay. See here the std code. So in my code I have written system.debug statement. So because of that, this std code is printed in the logs. So as it is 405, we have no condition for 405. If that is 405, there is nothing to update. Only if it is 040, then it has to update to Hyderabad. Okay. Again, I will change it. Now it is Hyderabad, right? I will change it to 020. Save it. Pune, and I'm changing it to 080. See what happens? Bangalore, right? So the trigger is perfect. Okay, so this is how you can update fields. You can write your own custom business logic in triggers. Any doubt?
Yeah, why did you give your 0, 3? I mean, there ever since
Yeah.
405, right?
Yeah. See what happening is, before, in the beginning it is 040, right? So
Yeah.
I have given 1 comma 4. So what it is taking is, it is taking from the first. It is
Okay.
taking from the first. It is 405.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, but we have to give 0 comma 3. If we are giving 0 comma 3, now I am saving this record. Save. And what is this? 0405. Otherwise change this one. I am giving 020. It has to change to Pune. Save this. Is it changed?
What
Changed.
about
Again, go to your debug logs. You can see the debug logs here. Back to list. This is your recent debug log. View it. Control F, std code. You are getting 020. Okay. Again you change. Each and every transaction will be counted. Each and every transaction will be stored in debug logs. 080, and I'm giving some 6, some 9. Save it. It has to change to Bangalore now. So it is changed to Bangalore. Now go to your debug logs. Back to list, and
so the Hyderabad index is 0, right?
yeah, Hyderabad index is 040.
Yeah. Okay.
So if you click on your recent log, Control F, std code 080. Okay. So this dot
Yeah.
city is equal to Bangalore. It is updating. This dot city is equal to Bangalore. So this is
Yeah.
the trigger operation. You can see account trigger. It is entering account trigger. The compiler is coming to account trigger on account, and the events before update. Okay. So debug logs are used to get the errors. So from where to where the compiler is going. So what is going on in the back end, you can see in the debug logs. Okay. So this is about triggers. So we'll discuss some more topics in tomorrow's session. Okay. Please practice. Okay. Right. Any doubts?
No.
Is it clear for today's? Because this
Yes.
is somewhat a bit code is there. So you need to practice it. You need to understand the trigger context variables, trigger events and all. Okay. Please practice.
Okay.
Then you can easily understand. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.